Welcome back to Crafted Nest, where simple ideas turn into beautiful creations you can make yourself. Today, we're exploring 20 unique inspirations to transform your garden on a budget, using recycled items and clever finds from the Dollar Tree. Not only are these ideas affordable, but each one adds a personal touch that makes your garden feel more alive, warm, and full of stories. So grab a cup of tea, enjoy each step, and let your imagination run free. If you love ideas like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the latest creations from Crafted Nest. Let's begin this creative journey and turn simple things into something extraordinary. If you wander into a garden at the right moment, just as the sun climbs high and the breeze teases the leaves, you might notice something extraordinary, a flicker, a sparkle, a glint of light that feels almost like magic. Reflective foil art is more than just decoration. It's the way sunlight writes poetry across your plants. Imagine this. Old CDs you once tucked away in drawers, metallic foil from a forgotten kitchen roll, even bits of gift wrap. They all find new life here. Cut them into delicate leaf shapes or whimsical patterns. Hang them from tree branches or plant stakes and let nature do the rest. Every gust of wind turns them. Every ray of light transforms them. The beauty of reflective foil art is how it invites interaction without asking for attention. Birds pause to inspect it. Bees dance between the shimmering shapes. Neighbors glance over the fence, curious about that mysterious sparkle. It's a design that's equal parts humble and captivating. To begin, choose a sunny spot in your garden. Hang your foil leaves or place your CD stakes where the light moves throughout the day. The foil will catch morning gold, noon's bright silver, and the rosy blush of evening. And when night comes, the moon might even borrow a little of its shine. It's a simple gesture, but it changes the entire mood of a garden, turning ordinary afternoons into enchanted hours. And perhaps the greatest secret? This is beauty born from what we already have, proof that a little imagination can make even the smallest corner glow. There's something deeply satisfying about growing herbs, their fresh scent, their delicate leaves, their promise of flavor. But when those herbs grow in containers you've transformed yourself, the joy feels doubled. Upcycled herb planters are little stories of renewal, where objects once destined for the bin find a new purpose and plants find a charming home. Picture an old coffee tin, its faded label hidden under warm jute rope, or a milk jug, cut and painted in soft pastels, cradling tender basil sprouts. Even a cracked clay pot, once forgotten in the corner, becomes a multi-tiered stage for succulents, thyme, and creeping mint. Each container whispers of its past while nurturing new life. Creating them is a pleasure in itself. You might start by rummaging through your kitchen or storage for jars, cans, or bottles you no longer use. Give them a wash, a fresh coat of paint, maybe a wrap of twine or a ribbon of burlap. Fill them with soil rich and dark. Tuck in your seedlings and place them somewhere they can soak in the sun. As the days pass, the transformation continues. Roots settle into their new homes. Leaves reach for the light. The scent of rosemary greets you when you step outside, and the taste of freshly picked oregano brightens your evening meal. In a way, these planters teach us what the garden always has. Beauty doesn't have to be bought, and life always finds a way to grow again. With a little care, a little patience, and a spark of creativity, even the simplest objects can become vessels of abundance. There's something timeless about the sound of water in a garden. It's not just a sound, it's a rhythm, a heartbeat that makes every leaf seem greener, every flower more vivid. And the beauty of a water feature is that it doesn't need to be grand or expensive to feel magical. Sometimes, the most enchanting ones are born from objects you already have. Picture an old wooden barrel, its surface weathered by years, now holding a gentle bubbling fountain. Or imagine terracotta pots stacked at an angle, water flowing gracefully from one to the next. Even a collection of vintage watering cans, each with its spout tipping into another, can become a charming waterfall. These aren't just decorations, they're stories in motion. Creating your own recycled water feature is a simple invitation to slow down. First, choose your container. maybe a barrel, a pot, or a metal bucket. Then, with a small pump and a bit of clever arrangement, let water begin its journey. Surround it with flowers, let ivy drape across its edges, and watch as it becomes a gathering place for birds and butterflies. The magic is in the details. Sunlight catches the ripples, casting patterns on the surrounding leaves. The gentle trickle blends with birdsong, turning your backyard into a private retreat. It's a reminder that beauty often flows from what we already hold, that the discarded can be reborn, and that nature welcomes even the simplest gifts. In the end, it's not just a feature in your garden. It's a place to pause, to breathe, to remember that even in the smallest spaces, serenity can bloom. There's a quiet joy in welcoming guests to your garden, the kind that arrive on wings and hum in the air. Bird feeders and bee decor aren't just ornaments. They're invitations to life, to movement, to the gentle rhythms of nature. Imagine a delicate teacup and saucer, no longer used for tea, now filled with seeds and hanging from a ribbon in the breeze. Sparrows find it first, their tiny claws gripping the saucer's edge. Then come the finches, adding a flutter of yellow and brown against the green. The soft sound of their pecking blends with the rustle of leaves. Meanwhile, in a sunny corner of the garden, small bee figurines crafted from painted styrofoam balls sit among lavender stems. They don't buzz, but they remind you of the real ones that do, tireless, essential visitors who keep the flowers blooming. You might even find a bumblebee resting on a petal nearby, pausing before another round of work. Making these pieces is as simple as it is satisfying. Old plates become feeders with the help of a sturdy stand. Styrofoam, paint, and wire transform into cheerful bee decorations. It's an act of kindness to the creatures that make a garden more than just a collection of plants. They make it alive. Over time, you'll begin to recognize the regulars. A certain bird returns every morning. A particular bee hovers near the same patch of blooms. These are the moments that turn your garden into a shared space, a haven not only for you, but for the wild world beyond your fence. And in that shared space, you find the truest kind of beauty. In the gentle warmth of a summer afternoon, a wall can become a canvas, and a handful of plastic bottles can become a vertical garden that feels alive with color. There's something magical about taking what was once destined for the bin and turning it into a living tapestry of blooms and leaves. It begins with the humble plastic bottle. Washed, trimmed, and given a coat of bright paint, it transforms from disposable to durable, from waste to wonder. Threaded with rope or wire, these bottles hang in neat rows, each cradling a pocket of soil where herbs, flowers, or even small strawberries can grow. The beauty of vertical planters lies in their adaptability. A sunny balcony becomes a wall of green. A blank backyard fence turns into a fragrant herb garden. You can plant parsley and basil for the kitchen, petunias for a burst of color, or trailing ivy to soften the edges. As the days pass, the plants grow and spill over, their leaves catching the light, their blossoms swaying in the breeze. The air begins to carry the scent of herbs and flowers, and every glance at the wall feels like a small celebration of resourcefulness. It's more than just gardening. It's a quiet rebellion against waste. It's proof that beauty doesn't require grand gestures or endless spending, only the willingness to see potential where others see trash. And as your bottles fill with life, you'll find that they don't just hold plants, they hold a story of transformation, told leaf by leaf. Sometimes, a garden's charm hides in the smallest details, in the stones beneath your feet, in the borders that hold a bed of blooms, in the way color catches the light when you least expect it. Mosaic and garden stones are a celebration of that quiet beauty, a way to weave art into the earth itself. The process begins with fragments, bottle caps collected over time, broken plates that once sat on a family table, ceramic tiles from a forgotten renovation. In another life, they might have been discarded. But here, in the garden, they become something enduring. Imagine a pathway made from plain concrete pavers, now brightened with carefully arranged bottle caps in patterns of sunbursts and flowers. Or picture smooth river stones, painted with gentle pastel designs, each one like a little story placed among the plants. A border of mosaic tiles glints in the sunlight, its colors shifting with every change of the day. Crafting these pieces is both playful and meditative. You sort through colors, choose shapes, and arrange them until they feel just right. With a bit of adhesive and patience, the pieces find their place, forming something both strong and beautiful. Over time, the weather softens the edges, the moss finds its way into the cracks, and the stones settle deeper into the soil. They become part of the garden's memory, blending with the roots and leaves. And one day, as you walk the path or kneel to tend the flowers, you'll notice how these small pieces of color have become part of the story. A reminder that beauty often begins with what we choose to keep. Gardening is as much about care as it is about comfort. The hours spent tending to soil and stems can be a quiet joy, but they also ask something of our bodies. The kneeling, the bending, the lingering in the sun. Garden comfort crafts are little acts of kindness we give ourselves, making the work as gentle as the beauty it creates. Imagine a kneeling pad, sewn from scraps of old fabric, a cheerful patchwork backed with a waterproof liner. It rests on the grass beside your tools, ready to cushion your knees as you plant seedlings. Or picture a weathered wooden stool, now wrapped in a soft, floral-printed cover, waiting for you to pause and rest with a cup of tea. Creating these comforts is as simple as combining practicality with creativity. An old cushion cover finds new life as a seat pad for your garden bench. A leftover piece of thick foam becomes a kneeling mat with a bright, washable cover. Even scraps from worn-out clothes can be stitched together to make something that feels personal and warm. As you use them, these handmade comforts begin to gather their own stories. A patch may fade where the sun hits each afternoon. A seam may carry the faint scent of lavender from the plants you brushed against. They become part of the rhythm of your garden days, as essential as the watering can or the gloves you wear. In the end, comfort in the garden isn't just about easing the work, it's about honoring the time you spend there. And when you make that comfort with your own hands, it feels like another bloom in the garden's quiet collection of gifts. There's a certain delight in giving plants a touch of glamour, in letting their green leaves and vivid blooms share the stage with something that catches the light and draws the eye. Glam plant accessories are not about overshadowing nature's beauty, but about celebrating it, adding a sparkle that makes each glance feel like a discovery. It starts with what you already have, a necklace that's lost its clasp, earrings missing their pair, beads that once lined a favorite dress. These small treasures, too precious to throw away, yet too broken to wear, can find a second life among the leaves. Picture a potted fern whose base is circled with shimmering beads, or a hanging basket with silver chains draping gracefully between its edges, tiny mirrors catching the sun as they sway in the breeze. Even the simplest clay pot can become striking when wrapped in metallic ribbon, with a gemstone resting at its center. The transformation is quick, but the effect lingers. In the bright afternoon sun, the glints of light mingle with the natural shadows of foliage. In the evening, as the light softens, the accents take on a gentle glow, as if the plants are wearing their evening jewelry. What's most beautiful is that these adornments carry personal stories, a pendant from a holiday long ago, a bracelet that was once a gift. They blend memory with the present moment, rooting sentiment in soil. And each time you water or prune, you're reminded that beauty doesn't always have to be grown. Sometimes, it can be gently added, like a final note in a song already playing. There's something deeply grounding about working with wood, the scent of it, the grain under your fingertips, the way it can transform into something sturdy and lasting. A rustic garden fence made from pallet wood is more than just a boundary. It's a frame for the life that grows within. The beauty of pallet wood lies in its imperfections. A knot here, a weathered edge there. Each board tells its own quiet story. When pieced together, they create a fence that feels both humble and full of character, blending naturally into the rhythm of the garden. Picture this, a row of sunflowers leaning against the fence, their golden faces peeking over the top. A tangle of morning glory vines climbing through the slats, their blooms opening with the sunrise. The fence doesn't just keep things in or out. it becomes part of the living tapestry. Building it can be as simple or as intricate as you like. A few sturdy posts, boards aligned side by side, and a coat of sealant to weather the seasons. Or perhaps you leave it bare, letting the wood age into a soft silver gray that matches the quiet of early mornings. Over time, the fence gathers its own marks, a scratch from moving a wheelbarrow, a streak of green from moss after spring rains. These become part of its charm, a record of the garden's life. And as you pass through the gate you've built with your own hands, you're reminded that beauty often comes not from perfection, but from presence. There's a kind of music that belongs only to the garden, a soft, irregular melody played by wind, shaped by the objects it touches. DIY wind chimes and butterfly stakes are a way to let your garden sing and dance, even when you're not there to hear or see it. It starts with simple things: a soda can, a plastic lid, a length of string. In their original form, they're nothing special, but with a bit of cutting, painting, and arranging, they become voices in the wind. The chimes catch the breeze, their tones rising and falling like whispers between leaves. Then there are the butterfly stakes, small sculptures cut from recycled plastic or thin metal, painted in colors that echo real wings. Planted among the flowers, they sway slightly as though alive, catching light in a way that feels almost magical. Making them is as much about the process as the result. You cut shapes, choose colors, and tie knots with the rhythm of a quiet afternoon. There's no rush. The beauty is in watching something ordinary turn into something that belongs to the garden. Once placed, they do their work without asking for care. A gust of wind sends the chimes into song. A shift in sunlight makes the butterflies glow. Neighbors might stop to listen, or to lean in for a closer look. And in those moments, your garden becomes not just a space of growth, but a stage where air and light perform small wonders day after day. Some flowers never fade. They keep their colors through summer storms and winter chills, standing bright long after their real counterparts have gone to seed. Plastic flower blooms are not just a clever reuse of discarded materials, they're a celebration of creativity, durability, and joy. The journey begins with what most would throw away: a plastic bag, a soda bottle, an empty egg carton. In the right hands, these become petals, shaped, painted, and arranged into blooms that rival the vibrancy of nature's own. You might cut smooth curves for roses, pointed edges for lilies, or round, cheerful shapes for daisies. Painting them is where the magic deepens. Pastel pinks, deep violets, sunny yellows, each color chosen to complement the green around them. A bit of shading or texture turns them from plastic into plausible, and when they're placed among real foliage, they blend so beautifully that you almost forget they're man-made. In the garden, these blooms serve many purposes. They fill in shaded corners where real flowers won't grow. They add year-round color to spaces that change with the seasons. And they spark conversation. Visitors often lean closer, curious about how they were made. Perhaps the greatest gift of plastic flowers is the lesson they carry. Beauty can come from the overlooked and the unwanted. With a little patience and imagination, what was once waste becomes something worth tending to. And as the days pass, you'll notice that while real flowers bloom and fade, these handmade petals keep on smiling at the sun, a constant reminder of creativity's enduring touch. As the sun begins to sink and the day folds into night, a garden takes on a different kind of beauty. The edges blur, the colors soften, and small points of light begin to glow. Solar lights, with just a bit of care and creativity, can become more than mere markers in the dark. They can be beacons of charm and warmth. The magic starts with transformation. A plain solar light, straight from the store, is functional but unremarkable. But wrap its stem in rustic jute rope, or slip a painted mason jar over its top, and suddenly it's a piece of art that glows from within. Even a colorful plastic cup, inverted over the light, can turn a utilitarian object into a playful garden feature. There's a quiet satisfaction in crafting these covers. The work is simple: paint, wrap, glue, place. And yet the result changes the way the garden feels at night. A row of softly lit jars along a path invites you to wander a little further. A scattering of glowing lanterns among the plants makes the garden feel like it's keeping secrets just for you. These small makeovers remind us that light in the garden isn't just about seeing where you're going. It's about creating an atmosphere. It's about warmth, welcome, and the gentle way illumination draws your eyes to details you might miss in daylight. And the best part? The sun itself powers the beauty, leaving no wires, no costs, only the quiet satisfaction of knowing your garden will greet you each night with a glow born from your own hands. In a thriving garden, every plant has its own story, its own needs, its own season, its own place. Plant markers are like gentle whispers that help us remember these stories, guiding our care and adding a touch of charm to the soil. They can be as simple as a painted stick or as inventive as a bottle cap nailed to a wooden stake. Each one carries a name: basil, lavender, rosemary, thyme. These small signs do more than identify. They give a sense of order and intimacy to the garden, making it feel both personal and purposeful. Creating them is a satisfying mix of art and utility. You might gather wooden paint sticks from a local store and coat them in bright colors that stand out against the green. Or perhaps you collect smooth river stones, painting each with careful lettering before placing them near the roots they belong to. Even recycled bottle caps can become cheerful labels with a bit of glue and a short word in bold paint. As you walk through your garden, these markers greet you like old friends. They remind you which herb to pinch for tonight's dinner, which flowers are perennial, and where the carrots are quietly growing underground. And when visitors arrive, they find themselves reading each name aloud, connecting words to scents and colors. Over time, the markers may weather and fade, but that only deepens their charm. They blend into the rhythm of the garden, bearing witness to seasons of growth and rest. In their presence, even the smallest patch of soil feels like a well-loved space, cared for with intention and a touch of creativity. In the world of gardening, transformation is a familiar magic. Seeds become leaves, buds become blossoms. But sometimes, the magic begins even before the planting, when an object from another life is given a chance to bloom. Recycled tire planters are a bold, joyful example of this transformation. Once worn down on roads, tires are often destined for the landfill. But with a little vision and color, they can become vibrant cradles for life. Imagine a circle of bright painted tires nestled in the grass, each overflowing with petunias, basil, or even strawberries. The contrast between the rugged rubber and the softness of green leaves creates a charm that feels both rustic and fresh. The process is simple, but the impact is striking. First, clean the tire thoroughly. Then, choose your colors: sunny yellows, cool blues, or playful pinks. A coat or two of outdoor paint turns dull black into a cheerful statement. Fill the hollow with soil, plant your favorites, and watch as life spills over the edges. Some gardeners cut and shape the tires into petals or waves, turning them into flower-shaped sculptures. Others stack them into tiers, creating vertical gardens that stand out in any yard. Over time, the tires weather gracefully, their colors softening under sun and rain, but their strength holding steady. Recycled tire planters remind us that beauty doesn't always start with something delicate. Sometimes, it starts with something tough, something built to endure, and with the right care, it becomes a vessel for growth, color, and renewal. In their sturdy circles, life finds a home where once there was only rubber and road. Sometimes, the most enchanting gardens aren't measured in acres, but in inches. A fairy garden in a glass jar is a world contained, a tiny landscape where imagination takes root alongside moss and miniature blooms. It begins with a vessel, clear and simple, ready to hold more than just soil. Into it goes a layer of pebbles for drainage, a scoop of rich earth, and then the magic begins. Miniature houses, perhaps crafted from twigs and bark, sit tucked among patches of moss. Pebble pathways wind between them, leading to tiny benches or a handmade wooden bridge. Even the plants are chosen for their sense of scale: low-growing succulents, delicate ferns, and tiny flowering herbs that make the world inside feel alive. Some choose to add small figurines, a seated fairy, a curious rabbit, or a lantern post. The details invite you to lean closer, to peer inside, as though you might catch a flicker of movement. Placed on a windowsill, the garden catches the changing light of the day. In the morning, sunlight streams through, illuminating every detail. By evening, a string of tiny LED lights can turn the scene into a glowing village, warm and welcoming even in the dark. Creating a fairy garden is more than decoration. It's an act of storytelling. You're building a place that feels lived in, even if only in your imagination. And each time you pass by, it offers a small escape, a reminder that wonder can be found in the smallest of spaces, if only we take the time to look. In a garden, the journey is just as important as the destination. A pathway is more than a route. It's an invitation, guiding footsteps while adding its own voice to the landscape. When made from broken tiles, it becomes a piece of living art, every shard a brushstroke in a colorful story. It begins with fragments. Plates from a cupboard accident, leftover tiles from a renovation, or pieces found at a market stall. Alone, they are incomplete, but together they can form something lasting and beautiful. Each one carries its own history, its own shade of color and texture. The process is part puzzle, part painting. The pieces are laid out, edges fitting together in unexpected ways. A splash of blue here, a curve of floral pattern there, until the path begins to flow like a ribbon through the garden. Set into cement, the tiles find their new purpose, their fractured edges softened by the surrounding greenery. Walking this path is a sensory experience. Underfoot, the surface feels cool and solid. Around you, flowers lean over the edges, and the sun glints off the glazed surfaces, shifting with every step. It's as if the garden itself has scattered jewels in your way, just to keep you looking down in wonder. Over time, moss may creep between the tiles, adding depth and age to the design. Rain will make the colors gleam, and dry summer days will let them glow in the heat. A broken tile pathway is proof that beauty can emerge from the imperfect, that even fragments can be part of something whole. There's a quiet satisfaction in giving something old a new life, especially when it becomes something both beautiful and useful. Hanging macrame plant holders made from old fabric take what's worn and faded and turn it into a cradle for green life, swaying gently in the air. It begins with fabric you already know well, an old bedsheet, a dress you no longer wear, curtains that once framed the sunlight. Cut into strips, the cloth becomes something entirely different in your hands. You braid, knot, and weave, the pattern growing beneath your fingers like vines finding their way upward. When finished, the hanger holds a pot snugly, lifting it off the ground and into the light. From a balcony, the plants spill downward in cascades of green. Indoors, they hang in sunny corners, softening the lines of walls and windows. Outside, they sway in the breeze, turning the smallest porch into a layered garden. There's a charm in the imperfections, a knot tied slightly uneven, a pattern that shifts as you go. These small variations make each hanger unique, a reflection of the hands that made it. And when the plant inside begins to grow, the whole piece seems to change with it, becoming a living work of art. More than decoration, these hangers save space, invite light, and carry a touch of personal history. They remind you that beauty can come from what's already in your home, waiting for another chance to shine. And each time they catch your eye, you remember, a little care, a little patience, and something worn can become something wonderful. There's something deeply satisfying about a garden that grows upward, reaching for the sun while saving space below. A vertical herb wall made from wooden crates brings together utility, beauty, and a sense of rustic charm, turning an empty wall into a fragrant, living tapestry. It starts with the crates themselves. Once used to carry fruit, bottles, or books, they now become frames for life. Sanded smooth or left weathered for character, each crate holds a collection of herbs in neat rows. Basil that leans toward the light, thyme spilling over the edges, rosemary standing tall like a tiny evergreen. The arrangement is part of the artistry. Stack the crates in staggered layers, or line them up in a grid along a sunny fence. Paint them in soft pastels for a cheerful pop of color, or keep them in their natural wood for a warm, earthy feel. Add small labels so each plant's name feels like an introduction. Parsley, oregano, mint. As the wall fills in, the scent becomes part of the experience. Each time you brush past, your hands carry the fragrance. When cooking, a quick step outside gives you the freshest ingredients, picked right where they grow. Over time, the crates weather slightly under the sun and rain, giving them even more character. The herbs thrive, their leaves brushing against each other, whispering in the breeze. It's more than just a way to grow plants. It's a way to turn the side of your home into a vertical garden, a wall that's as alive as the earth below it. As the day softens into evening and the first stars appear, light in the garden changes. It's no longer about brightness, but about mood, about warmth, intimacy, and a gentle glow that invites you to linger. Outdoor candle holders made from glass jars capture this perfectly, turning the simplest materials into small beacons of beauty. It begins with jars you already have, the ones that once held jam, pickles, or honey. Cleaned and dried, they become blank canvases. Some are wrapped with lace, giving them a soft, romantic glow when the candle inside flickers to life. Others are painted with frosted patterns, their light diffused like mist on a summer morning. A twist of jute twine around the neck adds a rustic touch, while a wire handle makes it easy to hang. Placed along a garden path, the jars mark the way with steady pools of light. Hung from branches, they sway gently, casting shifting shadows on the leaves. Clustered on a table, they turn a simple dinner into a small celebration. What makes them special isn't just their beauty, but their adaptability. In summer, they keep the evening alive long after sunset. In autumn, they add a golden glow to crisp nights. And all the while, they remind you that elegance can be as simple as a candle, a jar, and a place to set them. When you see them flicker in the dark, you realize they're more than decoration. They're keepers of moments. They hold the warmth of conversation, the quiet of shared silence, and the soft magic of a garden after the sun has gone. Some summer days invite you outside, but the sun, in all its generosity, can sometimes be too much. A shade canopy is the perfect companion, not to block the day, but to soften it. And when it's made from old bedsheets, it carries with it both resourcefulness and charm. It begins with fabric that's been part of your home for years. Perhaps a plain white sheet that once dressed your bed, or a floral print that reminds you of quiet mornings. Washed and dried, it takes on a new role. Stretched between poles, tied to trees, or draped across a pergola, it becomes a curtain for the sky. The effect is immediate. Light filters through, turning harsh rays into a gentle glow. The air beneath feels cooler, calmer. The patterns of the fabric shift as the breeze moves it, creating a living roof that changes with the moment. Beneath it, a picnic table becomes an outdoor dining room. A lounge chair becomes the perfect reading spot, and the garden feels like an open-air room. Making one is simple, a few lengths,